Album review. Today's album is Shawn Mendes' Illuminate. I'm joined today by Joe.
Hello.
Will.
Hello.
Aidan.
Mendes.
And myself, Denver. Now, what did I think of this album? Now, I picked this album thinking it was going to be much better than his newer album that we did, even though that did score very well in album review. I was like, because the songs that I did know off this album, I preferred for the most part. But other than most of the ones that I already knew, and maybe one or two others, I kind of felt like most of them were good, but kind of vanilla. A lot of the songs kind of followed the same formula. Nothing that the music sort of wasn't as diverse feeling, I felt, as what was in his previous album, where the music just sounded the songs were more distinguishable, I think, in his previous album compared to this one. But that doesn't mean by any means that they're bad. And I don't think anyone could really dislike this kind of music.
Wrong. I hated it. No, sorry, go on.
Because there's no bad songs in it, and as everyone knows, Shawn Mendes is a golden god and can do no wrong.
Exactly.
But yeah, it lacks a variety and feel, but because most seem to follow the formula of like starts off slow and then has a build, which I do really like, and I did really like some of the songs a lot, but just a bit vanilla. And I think that may come from the fact that most of the songs I liked I'd already heard, so it wasn't like a fresh like stimulus of hearing something new, you know. It was kind of, well, I know that song's a banger, I've heard it a million times kind of situation. However, picking a least favourite, really difficult, because there's a couple, like I say, there's probably about 6 ones I really liked, and then the rest are kind of in the same okay, nicey feel songs. So difficult to pick out one from there. But I went with Patience because it's a tad bit boring, and I said about a lot of the songs having like a build and a formula. That one didn't really follow it because it didn't ever build to anything, I felt. Still nice to listen to, but nothing kicks about it.
I still don't feel like, personally, like I would not say none of the songs, but I feel like most of the songs in this album don't really have a build. It's just a song from start to finish. I don't feel like there's much of a build in any of them.
No, I'd argue you're wrong there, Joe. Like, I feel like a lot of them do have, even if it's just adding a couple of instruments, it's still like a build.
But I don't think there's like an instrumental build. I feel like it's all done with his voice, which is...
But even then, it's still a build.
I would disagree.
With who? Well, yeah, with who? Oh, okay.
Yeah, get fucked, Joe.
Well,
because
I take everything back.
Especially when I had picked my favourites and then listened to those again to try and understand why they were my favourites. But I'll get to that in a minute. Still talking about Patience. Catchy chorus though. I thought the chorus was alright because I nearly was going to put my worst as 3 empty words because for the opposite reason. Like that was a really nice song, but then it kept repeating the word 3 empty words at the end, and that kind of like I was really annoyed by that. I don't know. I was just kind of like, do you want to say it 20,000 times, Sean, or what?
Wow. Ooh,
I definitely feel like the album had, even though I've just said my least favourite, but to go back onto the album in general, the album starts great. Like the first, even the last, but until the first 4 songs are all amazing.
Yeah.
And then from then on in, it's like hit and miss with the okay, nice to really good songs. And I kind of wish I picked the standard version, not the deluxe, because Understand works well as a finisher because it does his whole like lecture thing in it, which even though I was like, I could take or leave that, it worked well as an end point, and the song Understand was really good. So then for those extra 2 songs to kick in, even though they were nice, they kind of took away from that like thing we've spoke about before of good out of albums having a good start and finish.
I'd be surprised if Understand wasn't like Will's favourite, just based on like it being different and like, you know, real
I
deeper
thought
meaning.
when he spoke in Understand, because he speaks about like how people can't really change even though you try and change. I feel like that's something you have often said before, Aidan. So every time I heard that, it actually reminded me of you.
Whoa, me and Mendes are basically the same though.
You have the same voice, like
same look as well. I don't know if you've ever seen me.
Yeah,
just as handsome as Shawn Mendes,
Pretty
if not
much.
more.
If not
I'd
more
argue
handsome.
more. I'd argue more.
Which is why my Tinder bio says I am Shawn Mendes.
It was like that time you went on fucking Tinder and you put what was it? Your age was wrong on Tinder or something.
So it links to your Facebook, but when I had Facebook, I was only 10, and so I was like, I'll set a normal date to be Facebook aged. I'm 1980 or something like that, which would make me like nearly 40. So immediately I was being matched with like 30 to 40-year-olds, and my picture was my original Facebook profile picture from when I was 10.
and his bio said
was this lol JK I'm 16. But because it was a competition, I put my preference as bisexual so I could have both. Double the chances of getting people.
It's ideal.
I deleted it 10 minutes later because it made me cringe so hard.
Yeah.
So who knows? It might be still floating out there.
But yeah, understand. I felt it was a really good finisher. Had this not been the deluxe version, so kind of like I don't understand why he just didn't then like, because then all of these deluxe versions they just slap them on. Like why didn't he like, put understand still as the last song? But yeah,
it is on the. This is. On the normal one, does finish on understand.
Have you been listening?
Fuck you, Will.
Yeah, but the point of a deluxe album is to add shit on the end.
Yeah, but like you could still move it. No one's gonna complain.
Literally, in his latest album, the deluxe version
used to be the song 13, and now it's song 16. I want a fucking refund. It's
No,
like, fuck off, Will.
No, that's like the main story as an album. And then you added a little bit on the end.
Yeah, but they don't always. Literally, Shawn Mendes himself in his next album, in the deluxe version, added songs in the middle.
Yeah, but in that story, he incorporates it. He puts in like little fillers.
This is why I understand his Will's favourite because he just does all shit constantly.
And also, I feel like this is an album where, unlike say the 1975 album, this album you can play in any order. I don't feel like it follows any story from one song.
No, it really
to the other.
Doesn't.
You can just hit shuffle and get the same experience as listening to it in an order. Anyway, top three. Really difficult top three because there's about 6 songs on here I almost liked equally. But I went in the end with 3 at least 2 that followed the exact same formula. So in third was Bad Reputation. Fucking love that song. Starts really slow and does build, and it actually builds through the instruments because if you listen back to it, like in the first verse he sings and chorus, it's all like just him basically and a guitar, I think, and then like it adds drums into the next one and then more instruments. So it actually, rather than just like it's Shawn, Vanilla Shawn with big chorus and Vanilla Shawn, it's kind of the whole song evolved through it, and then had like a breakdown bit.
Sorry, but Joe's now going to tell you why that wasn't a build.
It lacked music intensity.
I mean, it literally didn't.
Second favourite was Mercy for almost the exact same reason, because I feel like it followed almost the exact same formula of start slow, builds up, and then has the breakdown of him just like speaking with little instruments in it, if you know what I mean. Do you remember that bit?
Yeah, I remember that bit. I did listen to the album.
Yes. Great. Mercy would have been my favourite. Hading this other song not been my favourite. My favourite I picked was Ruin.
Oh.
Purely because I think this is the one I hadn't heard before. See, all my other favourites on this album I had heard. So it was almost like hearing this song was like a new stimulus. It was like a new song to me.
He said stimulus twice. And he said, oi.
Sorry.
He said stimulus twice.
It's when you.
That's illegal.
It's when I'm going to be saying this on all album reviews now.
It was hook.
Yeah.
Then it was
stimulus.
Like, what was it? Groove.
Learn a new word.
Was it funk? What did we say before? And now it's stimulus.
Oh no, it was contrast for a bit.
Contrast, yeah.
Oh, this album lacks contrast.
Ah, well,
True.
okay.
Like they're all very similar. Other than you could argue the contrast within songs itself, with it having these build moments. But even then, it's not that dramatic. Like it's still Shawn, but just with moreness.
More
Just
Shawn.
more Shawn.
Just more Shawn.
Shawn.
But more Shawn isn't a bad thing.
More Shawn the Orc.
But I feel like this is an album, if you listen to it a lot, you could get bored of because it's so similar, you know? But still fantastic. Yeah, Ruin, really liked it. Not heard it before. It's a bit slow, probably, from what I'd normally go for. But I think, again, just because it felt new to me, that's why I liked it more. And I like that it's a song that you can almost hear his like voice straining in it. And I kind of like that in this song. But yeah, overall,
You like that struggle.
yeah, overall, bit vanilla, but still a banger.
Mm.
I expected you to be a bit more loving of this album, to be honest. Didn't expect that from you.
Fucking why though?
You know?
Yeah, maybe it's just because I think if I'd reviewed this album when we started album review instead of the other one, I probably have rated it even better.
Yes.
Maybe it doesn't help having last album was 1975, which was like the most varied thing we'd had. Now going to this where most songs are kind of similar.
Yeah.
Even though, like I say, that wasn't a bad thing, but because of that, it felt like you could get bored of it because it followed a very similar sort of formula.
Yeah, I get you.
Aidan.
I'd like to take you on a little journey of Shawn Mendes. It starts with his mum and dad, Mary and Joseph Mendes. And one day, God came down and was like, "Mary, you're gonna have a Mendes. Fuck off to Bethlehem." They rode there, shot him out in a manger, and then he went around doing cool shit until he was nailed to a stick.
Are you implying that
Shawn Mendes is Jesus? Yes.
Interesting.
I'm the first one to admit that I love Shawn Mendes. Like, I named my D&D character after him. My Steam profile is also him sometimes. And like, it kind of started as a joke on Rocket League with me and Denver, but it formed into a full-fledged love for him. And now me and him are best bros. Me and Mendes.
You know, Shawn Mendes is 21 years old. We could be friends with him. He's the same age as most of us.
If Consistently Trash gets big enough,
We'll just hit him up.
bros.
I love it.
Can we get him in on it?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
replace me with him.
No, but
Joe, you
Joe, we
didn't
need
have
you
to
for the
act.
contrast.
No, we don't.
Sorry.
No, we don't.
What contrast is that?
You like shit music.
Oh, no.
Fair enough.
That was quite good, that.
Oh, nice joke.
Nice.
I still wouldn't say that this album was better than the other one. I found that towards the end of it, or this album rather, he put in all the songs that he was working on when he was younger or something like that, in my opinion, because none of them seem to have the same professional flair that the other songs do. And by the extension of that, the start of the album is incredibly strong. You know what I mean?
I get you. Because he did release this album of like a year after the last. So it's as if the first album was so popular, then it had a few good songs, and it's like, you need to fill out the album with like 12, 13 songs. So he's like, I've got a couple of...
Is like, I wrote this one when I was 12.
Finish it.
Finish him.
Yeah.
Worst song, Don't Be a Fool. Nothing really wrong with this song. It's a good song. It just didn't grab me like the other ones did. Because it was very difficult for me to pick a worst. Like, I had sort of 3 on the back burner that I knew weren't my favourite, but like, it was still hard to pick that one. Like, I think Denver's right in that Patience was one of the other ones that it could have been, potentially.
Is there a motorbike going past?
Third favourite. Bad Reputation. It's probably one of the more unique songs on the album, and although it doesn't like shift the tone of the whole album, it certainly hits different. And it's got a fantastic build, but I'm not really big on the bridge, like Denver said he liked. I felt like it was almost too easy. You know what I mean? Just like it was such a vanilla kind of easy generic like build pre-chorus thing. I feel like it deserved better, which is why it's not number 2 or number 1. Because I really did enjoy Bad Reputation. His vocals in it are fucking insane. Number 2, Ruin. It's one of the only top 3 ones I knew prior to listening. I have to say that it stuck with me big time. I just love the passion of the song all the way through. Like, it makes him sound like he actually cares about what he's singing, and that's really refreshing coming off the back of a 1975 album where they just kind of sound like they're just going through the motions. I don't think there was any song on the last album where I was just like, fuck, he sounds so hyped to be singing this. It's like Matty Healy just goes. It's almost like Matty Healy doesn't want to be famous. He just does it for the sake of it now. He's kind of like, fuck, I'm roped into it. Got to do songs. Because he didn't put fucking any effort into any of the songs. Or, sorry, he did. He put effort into what was that one? People. Wake up! That's probably why he just if that's the one that they come out to in a concert, that's probably why all the rest of the songs are so mellow. It's because he's just tired after doing that one.
That is Matty Healy's favourite 1975 song.
Oh, that's good. I can't believe that Matty's also wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, he's right.
How can you be wrong about your own
pride? Is the best.
Like, holy shit.
Sincerely
really
Scary is the best.
I like the way I get to come out on stage and just shout at everyone. Makes me feel better about myself. Pass the heroin. Number 1. This was kind of a weird one. I picked Like This as my favourite.
What?
Yeah, like This.
Really? Isn't that the one that just has the piano in it?
Oh,
So,
God.
yeah, I fucking really, really enjoyed it. Like, it gave me actual chills. I didn't expect to like this song so much, but I would actually actively stop what I was doing and like listen to this song.
It's a very
Just
I'll go. It's a very Ed Sheeran-y song.
Well, like, I know I've picked 3 very sort of airy and ambient songs as my favorite, and maybe that's because like maybe I found what I like, you know, my music kink, if you will. But the song feels very powerful, and I got to say, it really did catch me off guard. Little bit of a. I also really liked Honest and Hold On. Is it Hold On? Yeah, I really like them too. So honourable mentions to them.
Yeah, I missed off my honourable mentions.
Would you like to say them now?
Should I try and add them back in?
No.
Or just do them now?
Yeah, just do them now.
I thought There's Nothing Hold Me Back was fantastic. Treat You Better was fantastic.
Okay.
Like This was fantastic. I put Feels Big. So when you said about ambient airiness, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
And Honest.
I don't know if you heard, but Will sounded very, very put off by the fact that I said that.
No.
Okay, good.
I don't know. No.
I think the problem is that we've heard the main songs on the album too much.
Yes.
And I'm almost subconsciously listening out for the ones I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's probably the reason I rate them more, is because they're fresh. You know, with a PH. Fresh.
I completely agree. Like, I feel like if I had never heard any of these songs before, I would think this album was amazing.
Yeah, exactly. But like Shawn Mendes, hate to say it, overplayed, but he is great, and he does deserve all of the attention that he gets, because he is actually fucking incredible. Super wholesome guy as well.
Treat You Better has over 1 billion plays. A
It
billion.
Deserves more.
Fucking hell.
We need to get that shit we need everyone to hear it. When it's at like 7.5 billion, that's when we know.
That's when we know everyone's heard it.
Everybody has heard it.
No, it's just one person who's listened to it over 7 billion times.
It's just one guy with 1 million like computers all just playing it on different IP addresses.
I'd be okay. I'd do that. I would do that for Mendes. I love you, Mendes. Please return my calls.
Well,
So, it's a fantastic album, right? I'll start off by saying that, but it definitely does lack contrast. I don't think I've noticed it too much until I've listened to it now. But do not get me wrong, it's still a fucking fantastic album. I don't think there's any bad songs on there, but I do think it's really lacking in like differences.
Variety,
Yes, variety.
stimulation.
Because obviously it's got great melodies.
Contrast.
He's got one of like the best voices. He's just fucking awesome. But I will say, like, it seems a bit less mature to his new album, in a way, because I feel like a lot of my issue goes down to I find a lot of it a bit too soppy, right? Whereas I think his newest album, you can kind of tell he's matured and his music is like varied, and while there is obviously still soppy stuff in there, he's actually gone away from every song just being soppy, emotional, and just a bit.
I'm going to be the guy to save the girl's life or whatever. It's kind of song.
Yes, exactly.
But he is the guy that saves the girls' lives, Will.
I mean, you know, but I think that's... Yeah, I just think his music's definitely matured, which is why I do think his newest album is probably my favourite of his. For example, like with songs like Lost in Japan and Youth, I thought they were like really great. You know, like his music's definitely evolved to greater things since this album, but still, this album is fantastic.
Why was the song called Lost in Japan?
Because he was trying to find someone in Japan, wasn't he? Wasn't that the thing? He's like, he was going to fly
Wait,
out
they
to
were
someone.
lost, or he was lost? He flies out to someone, but he ends up at the wrong airport.
Doesn't he say, let's get lost?
You got plans tonight?
Because all it takes is one flight.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, but then what? Now he's stuck in the jungles of Japan.
And coronavirus is hit. He's stuck there forever.
He's lost in Japan. He has to forage and fight for himself. He's buried.
Worse for me, it's funny you should say, is understand.
What?
Right? I don't know why you thought I was going to like that. Just because it's got such a fucking speech in it.
Yeah,
The speech is cringe as fuck. Like, it's nice.
You'd still pretend that
Nah. And also, the actual melody in the song is like the worst out of the entire album.
Wow.
And it's so boring. And then you get to that final bit, and while I get that it's nice, it's a bit cringe. And I don't see why.
I thought for sure, your least favourite was going to be Lights On. Because even I put cringy lyrics.
Wait, what? Lights On?
Yeah, Lights On is pretty cringy.
I was like, this is definitely Will's worst. It has the cringiest
Lights
lyrics.
On?
Yeah, he wants to look.
You're about to say this is your favourite now, aren't you?
It's not my favourite, but
It's in your top three.
it is my third favourite.
Fuck.
Will's gone
You
backwards.
say it's cringy, but the actual melody in that isn't that like that's why I don't like this. It's so like I don't know. I find that more cringy than Lights On. Lights On for me is just like lovely. It's dead happy. It's
I want to
super
fuck
funky.
you while wasting electricity.
It's super funky, and you could have it in like. Okay.
I would
go on,
agree
Joe.
with Will.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted to agree with you, mate. I just wanted to back you. I felt like you were getting bullied.
No, I'm sorry. I'm going. This goes against the Will Davey code.
No,
Yeah,
it doesn't.
so if it's
Lights On.
cringy, Will Davey, not
Lights
no-
On for me is the most Ed Sheeran song on the album. Like
That's
the whole
not-
melody, the happiness. It just definitely.
You're saying it's a lie. Are you okay? Did you fall over before this album review?
What would you say is the most Ed Sheeran song?
Probably like this.
Not in any sense of the word.
No?
No.
I think
Or
Sings
like maybe
an Ed Sheeran
Honest.
song.
I don't think-
Honest is definitely an Ed Sheeran kind of one. You can't
Yeah,
say
that is as well, definitely. That's what I mean. Like Lights On and Honest for me were
Is
probably
Honest your second favourite?
no,
Honest your favourite?
no,
Is Honest your fourth?
no. It's not on my. It's not on
Alright,
my top
well.
three. But saying this, like, there was a few that definitely could have been third or second. It was maybe just like mainly number one that was definitely number one for me, but still, because I would give honourable mentions, but pretty much I liked all of them, bar like maybe a few weaker songs because of like cringiness or etc. But Lights On for me is just like super happy. Like I really like the melody; it's super funky, and I can imagine it like a wedding but it's not too cringe. I don't know. Second for me was actually Patience. I thought that had like such a really good flow, and again it was just super happy, and it was just really nice. But again, first, like second and third could definitely be switched around. It's just like what I thought. Yeah, definitely came second. But number one, by a long way, is There's Nothing Holding Me Back. It's such a fucking awesome start to the album. It's the most upbeat, and I think it's the most different on the album, and it's probably about the only contrast there is on the album, to be honest. It's the most. It's just, yeah, it's fucking awesome.
It's a great song.
And the main riff in the song is great, and it's the one I was always like. After that, I always felt like nothing else kind of met that level of like being that good. It's like I was always buzzing to put the album on, listen to that, and then I always thought though that like there was a drop, and like everything else just wasn't quite. Nothing quite got there to that song for me.
I think I just heard that song too much to put it in my top 3.
Whereas I think I hadn't, because I suppose I didn't listen to the charts much or rate or whatever. Because the ones I don't actually like by him, I don't like Mercy that much. I don't like Treat You Better. I really don't like Treat You Better, and I don't get why that's so huge.
Because it's great.
But maybe that again
Great.
is probably because I've heard it too much. Whereas I don't think I've heard There's Nothing Holding Me Back as much as those ones, kind of thing.
I like the
Still
one
good
that-
songs, but I just don't like them as much as they like. I definitely think they're overrated compared to some of his other songs, if that makes sense. But all in all, great album. Just lacks contrast, and it's like a more immature Shawn Mendes, I think. But still, obviously great. Great voice, great melodies.
Really kissable.
Really kissable man, you know. And I really like the guy. From what we've seen of him, he seems awesome, and I like his humble upbringings as well, like coming through YouTube and stuff. And then
Fine.
did he go to like the Disney Channel and Vine? Did he go? I'm sure he was on the Disney Channel for something.
No, he was after, but that was after becoming like famous.
Yeah,
He did a song on his first album. One of his songs was on a Disney show.
What was it?
Fucking
Kissing
awesome.
Time featuring Mummy.
Which one was it now? It's Believe.
Oh.
The song Believe. I think that's on his first album. Or maybe it was his own song, because I can't see it on his first album actually.
Also, I've been saying that immature, but the album was literally a year after the other album.
Well, did he just do 3 albums in 3 years?
Yeah.
No, it's 2015, then 2017, and then 2018. So there was a 2-year gap between his first and second, but then there was only 1 year between.
He looks so fucking young in the first one.
He does, doesn't he?
Like a little fucking baby.
Oh, Believe was like one of his like first single thing.
I mean, you've got to know that you're attractive if you're willing to put your face on every album cover.
Not necessarily.
Okay, well, that's true, actually. Post Malone does have his face on album covers.
No, he doesn't.
Does he not?
Not in one of them.
With his face on them. Not in one. Fucking suck my cock, Will.
No, as in he doesn't have them in any of them.
Really?
No. The only one that's even got him in it is... Oh, wait, hang on a second.
Because like Post Malone's face is on the first
I'm completely
album,
wrong. The first one.
Wow! Look
Yeah,
at
I
this.
was gonna say it's literally him
God.
smoking, isn't it? God.
Outplayed.
No, but I can't really see his face.
Don't cut
Yeah,
it.
I was completely wrong.
Fuck you, Will.
Fuck you.
Yeah. On fucking Stony, it's his face.
I was going to say, I thought we did one with his stupid fucking face on it.
Shawn Mendes' most listened to song is fucking Senorita.
I know. I fucking hate that song.
I love it. It's great.
Oh,
Wait,
no,
I didn't expect that to be his number one.
no, his best song is fucking "If I Can't Have You."
What?
Is that the
No,
one with
no.
the music video and he's in his...
Where he's like in a warehouse.
Oh, yeah, I 100% agree with you. That is his best song.
Hang on a minute. Now I need to...
It's like I can something.
I love that.
I can't remember the lyrics, but it's fucking amazing.
But I don't think I put it as much. I think I put Lost in Japan. It was either one of them two. But
The Z remix I prefer of Lost in Japan. That's why I couldn't rate that one as my favourite, because I prefer the remix. But also, Shawn Mendes did a song of Lover with Taylor Swift, which I really like.
Ugh. Nah, I can't hate on Swiftie anymore.
Why? Because you watched the documentary.
It did make me feel a bit bad.
Fuck you, Will.
I still don't like her music, but I respect her as an artist, as a person. You know?
Joe.
Shawn Mendes being the 26th most listened to artist on Spotify.
Facts.
That is fact. Lacked funk, is what I thought.
Stimulation.
I thought Shawn Mendes. I remember listening to that album. I remember being in my bed, just fucking by myself.
Okay.
So I went into this album expecting the same thing, and it didn't happen. Doesn't mean it's a bad album. It's just very different to what I was expecting.
It's happened again, boys.
He's cooked us.
My
Joe
least
hates
favorite.
on the album I pick.
My least favorite was Understand because it was boring and the speech thing was cringy.
Well done.
Yep.
Don't
Thank
congratulate
you.
him, Will. You know it was your
I thought-
favourite.
It fucking wasn't. In any... I don't know why you thought that would be my favourite.
To be fair, when I was listening to it, every time I listened, I was like, "This is something that Will Davey is going to bloody absolutely
Gobble up.
You know,
Gobble
yeah,
up.
gobble. Be like, oh yeah,
Why?
it's so good. Oh, I love it. I love
I
it.
don't like any shit like that.
Tend to like shit like that all the time.
Yeah.
When have I
well.
ever liked anything with a fucking speech?
You love
halfway
fucking
through it?
musicals.
Yeah, I was gonna say you like music.
Musicals, yeah.
But
What?
don't they have speeches in them?
Not really, no.
I'm saying, so you're saying you hate Martin Luther King?
Wasn't
Oh
Will
my
claiming to
He's
love
got his speeches, Will.
Wasn't Will loving to claim a musical that he hadn't actually gone and watched yet?
Loving to
Oh,
claim a
that's all.
musical.
That is my favourite claiming of a musical to loving.
What? You have
So-
to see a musical live to
You don't have to see it to like it.
no, see it live to
Right.
have seen a musical.
Right.
Never mind, let's just fucking move on because
You
you're
don't
gonna
have
trigger me.
to see it to see
Oh my
it.
god, come on.
I thought this album was very Ed Sheeran-y. I thought all the songs are very similar to what Denver said. It's very vanilla. They were all very similar, but they were also all kind of very good. I think there's bangers spotted throughout this album, which are basically my top three. But again, I think the start to the album was like so much better than any of the other part. Like in terms of like good songs being close together. But I didn't like Mercy as much as I remember. Like obviously I've heard Mercy before. I actually preferred the acoustic version at the bottom of the album, weirdly. But yeah, I can't. It didn't have as much to it as I remember. I just feel like they didn't have as much to it as the other album in general. I thought the other album was thicker and fuller. And this just
Two of the
didn't
same
feel-
words.
Yeah, I didn't feel like that had it didn't have this album didn't have as much going for it. I'm saying very negative things, but I actually really did enjoy this album because it's Shawn Mendes. I like Shawn Mendes. I wish he was my friend. My third favorite was Roses because I feel like this was a better Like This. So, you know, there was Like This, which Aidan had in his thing, which is a nice little piano thing. I just felt like Roses was like kind of like that, but better.
You're wrong,
And I liked it. It was like a nice change of pace.
prick.
My second favorite was Lights On.
Oh.
I can't
'Cause
believe this.
Oh.
Like it is. Even me, Mister doesn't listen to lyrics. I was like, these lyrics are cringy. People are going to hate this. And
I thought
no.
I didn't really think it was that cringy, and it had like probably one of the best melodies on the album, like in terms of like feel good music and like
Yep.
you know funk. You know, it's all
Right.
about that funk for me. You know,
Stop trying to bring back the funk meme. It's dead.
funk.
Fuck off.
And number one, this is very quick. This review.
That's good. We didn't like yours anyway.
Fair enough. Number one, an amazing start to the album. There's nothing holding me back.
That's Mercy. Wait.
Even though I've heard it so many times before, it just had like the power, the the power and the power
Terry Crews.
all in one thing.
It's like we've paired up this review. Like me and Aidan's picks very similar, and then Joe and Will's picks very similar.
Like, yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily think you guys are fucking wrong, you guys think we are.
Well, no, nothing holding back is amazing.
Yeah,
I just fair. The other ones you picked, not so much.
You know.
Yeah. But all round, pretty good. Didn't enjoy it as last as the newer album, I guess. But I feel like that's because the newer album was like a feel good, thing. Fucking go for it. But then this was very emotional. There you go. That's my review.
Thank you, Joe.
No worries.
Rating time. 8.
7.5.
8.
7.5.
Woo!
That's
It's
surprisingly low.
It scores 31.
It's great.
Nice. It's a true 30.
It's a true 30, though, boys.
Hooray!
Nice.
So, just for reference, the other album scored 33, and the ratings we gave were 8.58, 8.58. So again,
Fuck.
Everyone just gave it just a little bit lower, sort of on average.
Without even knowing, though, we held up the consistency of it.
Essentially, what happened, though, was just Aidan and Joe rated it 1 point less. That's all that changed. Me and Will gave it the same.
I feel like it was 1 point less.
I didn't know what my old thingy was.
That's what I mean. You guys were all talking about how it was worse, but then rated the same.
Well,
Sounds like
No, I
didn't rate it the same. I give it fucking.
I would say it had better individual songs, but but had also then worse songs. If you know what I mean.
Even then, I wouldn't. I'd argue that's just not the case. I feel like the other album is a much more rounded album, in the sense that all the songs.
Well, I'd argue that you're round.
I would argue though that the last album lacked bangers, whereas this album had many bangers, but there are many.
See, I disagree.
songs.
I think I prefer all the songs in the other album.
Did we just hear Joe try and make a fat joke about me though? That's rude, bro.
That was not a fat joke.
It's 2020, Joe. You can't make fat jokes.
round.
Come on, dude. Fat
I see that does come off that way. That's not what I meant.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm not the one that did 2 workouts and thought I was skinnier.
Fitness.
As in fitting this whole penis in your mouth.
Right, Joe.
Next album is a weird one.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
No,
This
I'm
guy
excited.
is super fucking popular.
Oh.
He has over 2 million monthly viewers.
Oh, so
That's
Chris.
not super fucking popular.
It's Little Chris.
Okay, if I had 2 million viewers, I'd call myself fucking super popular.
Yeah, but Shawn Mendes isn't even in the top 25 and has 37 million.
Anyway, this guy seems to have a lot of listeners, but I never hear him anyway.
Super
And
fucking
I
popular.
heard his song on the radio about last year or maybe 2 years ago, and I was like, damn, that was a good song. I should do that for album review. And then I completely forgot to. So I'm doing it now. And it is the album Hypersonic Missiles by Sam Fender.
Fucking great pick.
No.
Fuck me, what a pick.
No.
Well done, Joe.
There you go.
Okay.
Oh my fucking god, I was literally very close to picking this myself.
We fucking beansed it, boys.
Fucking
It's over.
beansed it.
Well done, Joe.
Why have we been there?
Bravo.
Woo! It's not.
This is just a classic fucking new white people's thing.
It's
that they
not a
do.
metal. It's not a metal album.
No, I know it's not a metal album. I know what it is. I know exactly what it is.
I should say that, but maybe it'll be okay. I just don't think of what I've heard of Sam Fender. I've never really liked any of them.
That's because they're all bad.
I
There
already
you
know
go.
my favourite.
I've been avoiding listening to this on Spotify in preparation because I didn't want you guys to know that I was going to pick it.
Wow, that's smart.
There is one correct answer for the best song on this album, just saying.
What is that? The one you're listening to now? Spoilers.
What, in my
Maybe.
blood, Shawn Mendes?
Hey, Shawn Mendes again? This guy is like fucking budget Shawn Mendes right now.
Look,
at it.
have you seen how pronounced like his jawline is though? It's fucking insane.
By the way, if you clicked on About on his Spotify page, and it's just another picture of him.
His poster does look like he's a crack addict.
But then, like you see Sam Fender, and you're like, I want to know more about him.
No,
So you click on the no. So you click on the About thing, and it's just his picture. Does that tell you any more about him?
very little has stood in the way of young North Shields artist Sam Fender and his record.
Except
I mean,
Bullet.
his record through 2018.
I just don't really like that. Fuck.
Joe, any closing remarks?
Shawn Mendes, please be our friends.
Please be our friend, Des.
Mendes. I found that way too funny.